When I was watching this series, when I was up to around episode 16, my dad opens the door of my room and, making sure if I was okay, if I needed anything. And he's seen two monkeys driving cars and he goes, "What's this? Monkeys driving cars? You do know monkeys don't drive cars." That's my favourite memory of this series. Power Rangers Turbo was released in 1997 and is the continuation of the Turbo movie. There's no real story to summarize. Basically, if you've seen the movie, it just picks up right where the movie left off. Tommy and the gang, they have to fight evil, blah blah blah. You know the whole premise. But there's actually, in the second half, they pass the torch on to a bunch of new characters. So, Turbo is it's a pretty hated season. A lot of people really don't like it. And after rewatch, I can see why. But for me, I actually was expecting to hate it really bad. But it turned out being entertaining. But does that make it good, in my opinion? Well, let's have a look at the story for me. The story is basically nothing. There's no real story to it. There's a story, but it's basically filled with corniness, cheesiness. Yeah, it's basically filled with that stupid, silly stuff. But for some reason, it's just kind of a story that's so silly, cheesy, corny that it's just fun to watch. Like, it's not very good. It's a very weak story. It's definitely a very poorly written, poorly told storyline. But for some reason, I felt entertained watching it. I was so entertained and I just had a lot of fun with it. But there were some episodes that were genuinely pretty good. Passing the Torch was pretty good. The finale, while being a little cheesy, was pretty good. But I just found the story to be a little, it was poor, but I enjoyed it for that. I enjoyed it for being so stupid. I felt entertained. It's something I would watch for a laugh. I felt entertained by this story. I had fun. It was fun. It's not very good, but I had a lot of fun with it. It was fun. I can't say that enough. It's just a fun story, in my opinion. The effects in CGI are once again dated because it came out in 1997, so yeah, I'm not going to talk about them because, well, they're just dated. The acting is alright for the most part, but the characters are pretty interesting, actually. The original gang for the first half, well, they're basically just the same as the others, but it's mainly the new characters that make this one a little more interesting. Let's start with TJ, the Red Ranger. In my opinion, he was good, but he didn't feel like a leader. He felt more like a side character. He didn't feel like a leader. He didn't have that leadership role in him. I guess I was just used to seeing Tommy as the leader of the gang, but he didn't have that leadershipness, if you get me. Like, he felt more of a side character, in my opinion. And is it just me, or did he sound a lot like SPD Red Ranger Jack and a lot like Eddie Murphy? I don't know, I just felt that. Carlos was alright, but his acting, I think, is very wooden. I don't know, he was definitely the worst actor in it. I think his acting was just it was wooden. It was very, very wooden, and his acting I just thought was very weak. Hopefully it's better next season, though. Ashley is pretty good. She was very likable. She's quite sweet. Cassie is good too. She's pretty good. But the new character I like the most is probably Justin. He was pretty good. I like how he's a kid because people watching this back in 1997 would have been kids and it makes them relate to him. So I felt that was a good addition to the gang. I thought he was a good Blue Ranger. He's not amazing, but he was pretty good. I quite enjoyed him. Bulk and Skull in this weren't really that funny, and I felt like when they were turned into monkeys, it just felt pointless, really. I just thought it was kind of pointless to turn them into monkeys. And Detective Stone, he's not as good as he once was, but I still kind of got enjoyment out of him. But the villains, oh my god, the villains were terrible. But Divatox, she is so bad, but she's so fun to watch. Like, her acting, her performance, her character, she's just so funny. She's so funny to watch. Like, she's just a really terrible villain, but she's a lot of fun to watch on screen. She's entertaining. It's kind of like, that's kind of what it is. She's an entertaining, terrible villain. Like, you'll get a good laugh when you watch her on screen. She's just so over the top, but she's she's funny. Like, I felt entertained by her. The soundtrack is pretty catchy. The theme song is very catchy, especially the intro. I just really like the soundtrack in this. However, there are definitely flaws, like the story, it's not very good, it is very cheesy. Like, the villains are terrible. I do think the suits are a huge step down from the MMPR and Zeo suits. The suits in Turbo are just awful. The helmet designs are just... I cannot stand them. I just really do not like the suits. They're just awful in my opinion. So, Power Rangers Turbo, well, it was a weird show in my opinion. It was fun, it was funny, entertaining, but I don't know if I'd call it good, and I've been flipping a coin between my rating, but I think I'm gonna have to give it an extremely low 7 out of 10, just because I did like the ending. So yeah, it's a 7 out of 10. So that's my review for Power Rangers Turbo. Stay tuned for my review of Power Rangers in Space. And yeah, I cannot wait to see that. It's praised to be one of the best seasons of the show, so I can't wait to review it. So, see you guys for that. And until then, guys, skadoosh everyone and take care.